Want to make restaurant-worthy steak at home? Well, I'm here to show you how to do it. I've gathered together some of my favorite steak episodes in this one video to show you how. As you may know, I heart cilantro big time, and today's recipe is highlighting cilantro and another one of my favorites, skirt steak. It's a cilantro buttermilk marinated skirt steak. So delicious, you guys. So delicious, you're not gonna believe it. Well, maybe you will believe it if you know how delicious cilantro is and how fantastic skirt steak can be, like I do. First, what I'm doing is cutting up some cilantro. You need a cup of cilantro for this marinade. You don't really want the big, thick ends, but all the rest of the stems are fine. Just coarsely chop it. It's gonna go in the blender in a minute, so don't worry about it being too fine. And then 3 scallions, just sliced. They're also going in the blender. Cilantro. Then a teaspoon of whole coriander seed. If you can't get whole coriander seed, I would say you should probably use like a 1/4 teaspoon of ground coriander. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of curry powder. And a cup of buttermilk. And then everything just gets blended together. It smells so good in here. Just the faintest hint of curry. Tons of cilantro. Now you're gonna marinate your steak. I have a pound of skirt steak here, one of my very favorite cuts. You may know that about me, but it's really equally as good on a hanger steak or on a sirloin, London broil. Delicious on everything. Pour almost all, but not all, of the marinade on top. Save about 1/2 cup for serving. And then turn to coat. Make sure everything is nicely coated. You could totally do this in a resealable bag if you wanted to. Let the steak marinate for 30 to 45 minutes. You can do that at room temperature. You want to cover it with plastic wrap so nothing gets on it, or you can do it for a little bit longer in the refrigerator. Time has arrived to grill and eat, my favorite time. This is a grill pan. I have it preheating on medium high. I can see that it's very hot because it's smoking already, so I'm not gonna oil it yet. The first thing I wanna do is remove the steak from the marinade, wipe off the excess marinade, and then season it with salt. I'm just gonna season the one side and then I'll season the other side when I put it onto the grill. And then oil your grill very lightly. And then steaks go on the grill. Now you can season the other side. And then let them sit. Don't move them for like 2 to 3 minutes at the very least. All right, the very thinnest ones probably will only take about 2 minutes per side at the most. And you can see that because I wiped it dry and I had a high heat, it's nice and seared. A pound of skirt steak is plenty for 4 people. I mean, unless you're huge, crazy steak eaters, then you might want to up it. And we certainly have enough marinade here for probably double the amount of steak we cooked. I'm not going to torture you by eating in front of you, but I might torture you just a little by telling you how amazing this smells. It's my new favorite marinade, and hopefully it'll be your new favorite marinade. Good morning, Mexican food fans. How are you today? If you're good, you're going to be even better. And if you're bad, you're going to be good, because today I'm going to show you how to make one of your Mexican food favorites at home, beef fajitas. I'm starting with 3/4 pound of top round. You can use any steak, and in fact, skirt steak, even better. I'm gonna squeeze about a 1/4 cup of lime juice over the top. I'm just making a really quick marinade. It only needs to marinate for about 1 hour, and a tablespoon of soy sauce. I know that soy sauce probably doesn't seem very Mexican to you, but it gives a really nice underbody and depth of flavor that is unparalleled. So just try it before you knock it. Turn everything over. I'm just sort of coating everything, and then it gets marinated for 1 hour in the refrigerator. If you wanted to speed things up, you could probably do this at room temperature for about 30 minutes. Heat your pan, medium-high heat. If you want them super low fat, which I don't really understand why you would, you could add a teaspoon. Put your steak in your pan and let it sizzle up. You want to cook it till it's medium rare. I like to use a little bit of salt. While these are cooking, you can get your onions and peppers ready. I have a white onion here. You could totally use a yellow onion. I am not gonna tell, but it's a nice large white onion. Basically fajitas, peppers, onions, and steak all wrapped up in a delicious, delicious tortilla, right? These just need to be sliced. Turn them over, and you just really wanna cook them till they're medium rare. So I only need another minute or two because I've cooked it maybe a minute too long on the first side. Let's call it a really, really nice char. Time to take the steak out, put it on a clean tray, and just let it rest. I'm gonna turn my pan off for just a sec and cut up my pepper, and then I'll come back. Cut them up into strips. Starting to look like fajitas now, huh? And to finish, for serving, you need 1 tomato chopped. Let's saute. Let's sear it. I know that the recipe doesn't call for it. I'm adding another, let's say 2 teaspoons of oil. Let it get really hot. Now you can add your onions. Everything goes in at once. Ah, it got nice and hot. So the peppers and the onions all go in together. And I'm adding a crushed clove of garlic. Add that in just for a little bit of extra flavor. Stir this around. Give it a little squeeze of lime. Give it a little stir. And dinner is served. It's delicious and it's far less expensive than going out. And you can make it in your own home. Today's one pot is actually a one pan. What do you think about that? I am making a delicious and kind of special dish today. It's ribeye steak with carrots and celery root, and then to top it all off, a Dijon mustard horseradish butter. So first I'm just peeling 1 humongous carrot. The recipe calls for 2 large carrots, but this one is so big, I'm only using 1. Cut the carrot, I don't know, let's say about 1/4 of an inch. It needs to be nice and thin because these are gonna be broiled and you wanna make sure that the vegetables cook through in the broiler. And they're only in there for like 10 minutes. I have a celery root, which is just what it sounds like, celery root. It's kind of a medium-sized celery root. This one's nice and clean. Scrub it off and then you wanna peel it. Parts of it are actually a little easier to peel if you use a knife because they're so wonky like that. I just start off using my knife and then just switch to a vegetable peeler. Kind of smells like a cross between celery and parsley, and it's very, very nice. If you've never had it, I highly recommend you try it. What I have over here is what makes this dish so extremely special. 2 ribeye steaks, 1 1/4 inch thick. Take your vegetables and put them onto your baking sheet. Surround your steaks with your vegetables. Then drizzle a tablespoon of oil. Season with salt and pepper. Everything on both sides. Don't forget, salt and steak, they're best friends. Cook in your broiler, make sure it's preheated until the steak is cooked to your liking and the vegetables are cooked through. Make sure you turn everything at least once. 8 to 10 minutes. While your steak cooks, you make that extra special, delicious sauce. Mix together a tablespoon of soft, unsalted butter, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and 2 teaspoons of prepared horseradish. A little bit of salt never hurt anybody though. Both mustard and horseradish have salt in them. So you're only gonna use a little bit here though. Mix everything together. While you're at it, you can cut up some chives. You need about 1/4 cup of chives, which are totally optional, of course, but they're a nice finish to the dish. And then all you have to do is wait. And you won't be waiting long. You'll be eating a fantastic steakhouse-style dinner. Give yourself some veg. Just a little bit of steak. Some of that delicious horseradish butter and some chives. And say to yourself, why would I ever go to a steakhouse again? Today, I'm sharing something a little fun and a little celebratory with you. It's a surf and turf recipe with parsley potatoes. The surf, shrimp, turf, filet mignon. A fun thing to cook at home and really not so hard. What you want to do is start off by cooking your filet mignons. You can also have some new potatoes boiling. I have 8 ounces of new potatoes that have been cut into small pieces. They're already simmering. They need to cook for about 8 minutes. Season your 2 filet mignons with salt and pepper, and then have a large heavy skillet heating and add about a tablespoon of vegetable oil. Add your steaks and you want to cook them. Takes about 10 minutes total, turning occasionally until it reaches whatever desired temperature you want. It should take about 10 minutes for a medium rare. So you want to turn it occasionally, so every couple of minutes turn it, even on the sides, because filet mignons are very thick. 10 minutes total. I think my potatoes are probably ready to drain. Let me check them. Yeah, we're going to get heated again with some butter and parsley so you can drain them. And then I'm going to return mine to the pot that they cooked in and just let them sit there and wait until they're ready to heat through. Cover them up. I think the steaks look good to turn. What you want is nice golden brown color and obviously cooked to your desired temperature. You can always add a little bit of fresh oil if you feel like you need to. Add a few sprigs of thyme. and a tablespoon of unsalted butter. I have 2 here. I'm going to use 1 for this. And then you just cook it, turn the heat down, and baste a little bit with that butter for some really good flavor. Transfer the steaks to a plate to rest while you cook your shrimp. The shrimp can get cooked in the same pan. Add another tablespoon of butter to your pan, just to add 8 extra large shrimp. I'm cooking for 2 for a special evening. You can always increase the recipe to feed more people if you're feeding more people. That's about 4 large shrimp per person. When the shrimp are done, toss them with about 2 tablespoons of parsley, and they too can come out of the pan. This pan is getting a lot of use today because I'm going to finish my potatoes right in the pan as well. Boom. These get a little bit of butter too, about a tablespoon goes in here. Voila! Seriously, guys, what do you think about that? That's kind of amazing, don't you think? It's a full, fantastic, celebratory meal in less than 45 minutes, just like in your favorite steakhouse, but so much better because you made it yourself.